How's it going, everybody?
What's up?
Yeah, all right. I am Nick Valley from The Mythology.
I'm Jonah Dacanay from Jinx.
And this is Rev Rock,
Rev Rock
Revolution!
Woo!
With me,
Episode 5.
Xavier.
Yeah, with this guy.
Yes.
With me.
Yeah, for those
with this random guy at Jonah's house.
Yeah, right, random guy. Yeah, so this is Xavier Dacanay, my little brother, the drummer of our band Jinx. He's the X in Jinx. So, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's about time you're on this podcast.
Yeah.
It is, really. Right before we started taping this, Xavier admitted to us that he's never watched a single fucking episode of this show.
But
So,
the clips. I watched the clips.
No, but because of that, you have no idea that we have talked about you on this show before.
Yeah.
Oh.
So our viewers have been waiting
good
for
things?
this.
Good things?
Well, you have to watch the episodes to
yes,
find out.
definitely. You have to watch.
I'll definitely
You
watch
have
it.
to watch the episode to find
I'll
out.
watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch it. I'll watch
See,
it.
See, I told you, there's nothing to worry about, Xavier. This is so natural. Like you said to us, this is the most unprofessional podcast in the history of podcasts. There's nothing to stress about here. This is just a fun time. We're literally just talking with a camera on. It's like not
It's
anything.
just talking.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad. It's our first guest, and I feel like it's the right first guest for us to
Yeah,
have,
it's
Jonah.
definitely the right first guest. As we've said before on previous episodes, Jinx and Mythology, we're together. We're brother bands now. They're forever.
Exactly.
We're gonna be linked
Yeah.
in history. So it's good to have another member of Jinx on.
It's like Metallica and Megadeth, but like in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So, what do you say that, I mean, we could just, like every other episode, just ramble on for the intro for 10 minutes. But I think we should dive in and have our viewers get to know X on his own terms instead of us talking about him. Or you talking about him more specifically. So let's just dive in and let's talk a little bit about how you, I guess, got started on drums, your inspirations, like how you got into the band, being in a band with Jonah, all that sort of stuff.
All right. How did I get started on drums?
I could kind of start that off if you want, because it's actually a really funny story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started off.
So, Xavier was born on Christmas Day when I was 4 years old. In the funniest coincidence, that Christmas I got a drum set. And then I played it just. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it kind of foreshadowed Xavier being a drummer. Yeah, I got a drummer the day that Xavier. I got a drum set. I guess I got a drum set and a drummer the day Xavier was born. Yeah. But
I was just going to say that dude, literally, like that's the best Christmas ever.
Yeah.
That is some real Santa Claus level shit, man. That's crazy good.
It's crazy.
You can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, but
you should have on your wish list the following year. You should have been like another one, bass player,
bass player, and then the year after a rhythm guitar.
Exactly. You could have just kept
funny.
wishing for a band. It would be definitely Santa's most unique wish list. So all this kid wants is a fucking band.
Instead of Kiss Mr. Potato
That's really
Heads,
funny,
I guess,
though.
for actual members.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So what, Jonah? You just had no interest in drumming?
yeah. So, I started for a little bit, but then I got more into guitar because that's what my dad always played guitar. So then I was playing guitar, and we just had the drum set sitting there for a long time.
Because you're a god.
Yeah, thank you. One day I hope to be up by the gods, but yeah, but it was just sitting in storage for a long time, and then Xavier took a look at it, because I started to perform a little bit, and then he pulled it out.
I started playing drums when I was like around 4, I think. Yeah, and then I picked up the drums, and like I just loved it, and then he picked up guitar. And then we were like, let's just make a band.
It works.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Van
That's
Halen
really
brothers
cool.
did it.
I had no siblings. I had no siblings growing up. I was the only child, so I just had band fantasies in my mind. me and my stuffed animals formed a band. Okay, listen, we were the number one band in my bedroom. Okay, I'm just saying.
The number one.
Okay. So yeah, that was really weird. Let's just move on from that. So you guys just like always listened, I guess, to the same music because, like, oh my god, that video of you two in the car.
Oh yeah, the Kiss video
with the Kiss.
Rock City.
So hey, it's basically just been like, I guess, ingrained in you, right? I guess your entire life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I always wanted, like, ever since I was really little, that was like this has been my dream, like, become a rock star. And then Xavier kind of just followed along.
Tagged along.
I
was like, I could play drums.
That's awesome.
I could hit things.
Okay, well, that's a little bit deprecating. Like, X, you do more than hit. You are a god of a drum. Okay, I just want to say this. I had the privilege to do a virtual sound check with them a couple of days ago.
That was so fun.
Over Zoom. So basically, they were testing out their Twitch stream sound, and on my end, I was like adjusting their levels and stuff like that. I mean, I always talk about Jonah's guitar playing. I think that goes without saying. Xavier, you are a god. You are a beast of a drummer. Like, you are so freaking good.
He's all right.
You really are the Van Halen brothers. Like, for real. 2.0.
Yeah.
It's unreal. That was the first thing I think I ever said to Jonah. Was like, you two are like the Van Halen brothers. Like,
that, I think that if I pulled up the Discord messages, because the first time we actually
You'd
like
have
had
to scroll for like 12 years to get back to it, but yes. But yeah, I think that's what I said, something like that. You guys are so good, and that's so awesome. Like that, you guys got to have like that, like that brotherhood and like do this thing together. That's really cool. Yeah. X. Like, I guess, I have looked at your playlist, the X Experience. Yeah. X-Experience.
He loves the name, by the way.
It's so good. It's so good. I did see some discrepancies in influences in music. Kind of, I will say, Xavier, I think you and I have more similar taste than me and Jonah, probably. You want to talk a little bit about those bands and why you love them? Like, I guess I saw Foo Fighters in there.
Yes, definitely Foo Fighters. I
Rest
just
in peace,
grew up with them. Yeah, Taylor. It's
so good.
It's terrible, but yeah, big
it's
influences are like Dave and Taylor are huge influences on me. Yeah, I just listened to like a ton of Foo Fighters, and I still do. Yeah,
the greatest hits album was always in our dad's car.
Yeah, he like burned
the Foo Fighters are the best. Really.
But like,
I love that.
Like, when I was younger, we just always listened to Foo Fighters and also like Van Halen and stuff. So I picked up like Van Halen songs. I was like, Alex is crazy. Yeah,
it's so good. That is. Okay, so I always say this, there's the three bands, and I always say this, and like for me at least, it's like, so Led Zeppelin is the rock band of all time, like just like, it's like because they started out, in my opinion, and then it's Van Halen is the greatest, in my opinion, just because of their prowess, and like their musicality and everything, and then for me, Foo Fighters is like the pinnacle of rock, so like those three bands have always been like, had like their thing about it, so that's really cool that like, I feel like we have a very similar mentality on that, and yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. So Alex is, let me ask you a question. I know Jonah and I have had this discussion before, and this is going to be a huge debate for everybody in the comments. X, so I'm going to assume the DLR, the David Lee Roth era of Van Halen is what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, I got you. Yeah.
I think I listened to Hagar. Like, little Hagar.
Yeah, I love the Hagar era. That's probably a huge inspiration to me, as Jonah knows a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I love both.
Hagar fan.
I'm a huge Hagar fan. Huge. But I love but I will say, you know what it is too? I grew up, like you were saying, like always in the car. Like the Van Halen greatest hits was always in my car. Like when I was a little kid. So I guess that's where it comes from too, is like Hagar was always on loop in my car. So I guess I was just like ingrained in that. But the Van Halen 1 album, which we went on and on about in like multiple episodes, that album was really the thing that, like, when COVID happened, like really like set me on this whole path. So I'm on both sides of that, and I think it's really cool that we have like literally our two favorite bands are exactly the same. Xavier, that's really funny.
Well, they're so good.
See, Jinx. But see, they're so freaking good. But when you see Jinx, it's like it's Jonah. You have the J and the X, and then I'm this N. I'm telling you, it works. I'm the third brother. Jonah, I'm the third brother. I'm the twin that you were asking about.
Yeah, you're the twin I always wanted.
Sense. All the puzzle pieces go together. It works.
We still need to make that hashtag.
I do think that is funny, though.
Bring Nick and Jonah together.
Bring Nick and Jonah together. That is a real hashtag, and that is happening. We got to include X in that, though. That's gonna be. We were joking. Me and X were joking on Instagram. Just like how we've like really. This is our first time having a conversation.
Yeah. We've never met. Like, this is our first time.
It's really funny. Yeah, but we're gonna know each other for a long time, so I think it's cool. Yeah, so I guess that's how you like kind of got into it and started on drums. I always get Jonah's perspective on this, but like, what's like your perspective like on like the journey of Jinx and like how it all happened and how you got to this point?
Well, like I said, like I kind of just tagged along with him, and then we just started learning. We started off as a cover band, and we just started learning songs that we wanted to play, and then we would give like suggestions. But then, like, up until recently, we've started making more originals. And, like, he gives me, like, the bass idea, and I just put it into the song.
Yeah, he does his drummer perspective on all the drum parts that I want. And then we get in a lot of our
his drummer part.
Always like
that's like me and my dad when we do my records, because he plays bass on my records. So and we argue so much about the parts. I swear to God.
I feel like that's the one thing about working with family members in a band. It's because like everyone has their own vision, but then also because they're family members, they also have their own egos, like based on like who you are in the family. So it's like a weird power dynamic. Yeah. But
you kind of have to remove all of that from it. It just has to become about like the music. And, like, you really got to separate it. Yeah, definitely. I will say though, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, unless it's like completely. I don't think it's completely tearing your relationship apart.
No,
I don't think you're like the Robinson brothers. So
I mean, we're brothers. We argue anyway. So
yeah. So exactly. So I keep doing what you're doing because the drum parts that come out at the end of the song are so iconic and like they're so good. So like it's whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It's working. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes
I think and I will say on that note, I think the push and pull of it is what makes the music work. Like it's the energy of that. There's like the friction in it is what makes the music work a little bit. I think that's what makes bands work a little bit too. Is that push and pull, that ebb and flow. So yeah.
I
don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Oh, it's all good. No, I definitely agree with you. I don't think there's. I mean, there's of course music where all the band members get along and then like everything is perfect, but usually that doesn't happen a lot. Like first run. But,
Wait, what band are you talking about, Jonah?
Okay. So
who is this fictional band?
There's one. Okay, so a long time ago at Aftershock, I'd say like 2017, I interviewed some of the members of the Conspirators with my mom, the backup, pretty much backup band for Slash and Miles Kennedy, and they were talking about it, and they realized that they had never had a band argument. Like, they've never disagreed on anything. Just everything just flew super well, which is crazy, seeing that the members are like Slash comes from Guns N' Roses, which is like the biggest band to having controversy.
It's like the worst. It's like the worst conflict of all time. Yeah. You know what it is? Probably Slash is probably so sick of arguing with people that like at this point he's just like, let's work it out. Let's do it. Slash seems like a really laid-back guy. I don't think he was the one instigating the fights.
No, definitely wasn't him.
If you get my drift. Yeah, it's from a little guy named Axel. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think that you do have to have that push and pull, and I think it's super cool. Like, what? And I guess from your perspective, because I already know this, but I keep going back to X. But like, you're the guest. Speak. No, but in all seriousness, from your perspective, like, I know, like you said, like you had that shift from like cover band to like original music, like recently. What was that like for you? And like, how has it been like doing your own drum parts versus like learning other parts? And
I feel like there's like a lot more creativity and like a lot more possibilities because like we make the drums. We like sure we take inspiration from like other songs, but like it's our own stuff, original stuff. So we really have like so many possibilities, so much creativity. Yeah. I was just gonna say that. Like, I feel like it's so limitless, like the amount of things that you can do. And I feel like I'm glad that you talked about being a cover band in the beginning, because I'm in cover bands as well, and I think they're a great breeding ground for creativity. And for learning songs and like learning like instrument parts and stuff, like all of that, I feel like it's like the perfect way to start out, because you're learning how parts are written, like what goes into like these parts, and you're learning parts, and you're becoming a better player by learning a bunch of different songs, and you start to build this creative muscle, I think, as well, because you do the same songs over and over and over again, and eventually you're like, what if we try that? And what if we did that? And eventually it starts to become like this thing, and it kind of prepares you for, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's been my experience.
No, you're absolutely correct. Starting from a cover band, it gets you all the skills you need in order to be in a band without the stress of having to like perform your own music and write your own music, because I feel like that's the more vulnerable part of being an artist, having your own music, writing your own lyrics. But the cover band is more like taking all like just helps you enhance all those skills, because you like adding on to the list that you said, you also get to learn how to work with other people and how to play off of others, and just being in that live setting and getting used to that live setting. Because the only way you could really get better at playing live is by playing in front of more audiences. That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah,
about
really.
All the gigs
I mean,
we play.
It's so true. Like, I mean, like literally, like, I don't think anything really prepares you for that. Like, it depends on what you do. Like, I've told Jonah this before, and I haven't had that many conversations with Xavier, so this is gonna be new news for him. But like, I don't know how much, if you saw like, I know you didn't watch the show. so I no, but in all seriousness, I started, like I told Jonah and the viewers, I started out in theater, so like that's where my performance background comes from. But I do agree, like I got better and better every show that I did, and I kept honing that in. And it doesn't matter how many rehearsals you have. It doesn't matter if you're with the band in a rehearsal space. It doesn't matter, like, even if you're like recording it in a rehearsal, it's not the same thing as a live audience. Something switches, and in my experience, it just becomes like this totally different entity and this totally different feeling to it. Xavier, how would you like describe like that live show thing?
Live shows, I think they're really fun. I used to get like a little bit of stage fright, just like playing in front of people, but like as time goes on, I've like gotten a lot more comfortable, and it's just a lot of fun playing for them and giving them a good time.
No, I totally agree. Like, I went from my first show, like I literally was like, they stuck me how ridiculous, I just want to say real quick, how ridiculous this is. They stuck me in my very first show. I had to open the show in a solo musical number. The curtains shut behind me, so it's just me on a stage by myself in a spotlight. Very first time on a stage in front of 600 people singing.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. It was like, that's a way to conquer your fears, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get over it quickly.
But I can tell you, though, I had my eyes closed the whole time, and I was shaking, but I got through it. And now I'm at the point, like, I do live shows, like, pretty much every week, and I joke with the audience, and I go out, and I'm on my knees doing solos. So, you know, it's like, I think it's like building up, and there's always that feeling. Every show I do, in the very beginning of it, like the first 5-10 minutes, like, how's this gonna go? I'm a little nervous. I haven't played this venue before. Did I check up the sound right? Is everything? And then that dissipates. Like after like 10 minutes. But I think you need that little bit of adrenaline. I don't know if it's fear. I think it's adrenaline, like a little bit of excitement and like a little bit of not knowing, because that's like the magic and fun in it. And I don't like, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here, and I'm sure you guys agree too. All these bands now, and Matt Wolfgang Van Halen talked about this a little. Another great Rev Rock artist talked about this a little bit. Like basically how it's like it's ridiculous. These bands, the bass player plays to a track, the guitar player plays to a track, the keyboard player plays to a track, the drummer plays to a track with samples. The vocalist is lip syncing. Nothing is live. Everything's to.
Yeah,
I don't even know why you bother having a click track if you're not actually fucking playing anything.
I don't get
nobody
that.
plays the main band should always be live. I understand overdubs. I understand if you don't have a keyboard player, you want to have some keyboard tracks, some ambient tracks, you have like some sort of doubling solo, like harmony thing you need to do. You need to plug that in. You don't have another guitar player. I get that. That makes total sense to me. You want to give everybody the best live experience you can, and you need to supplement things in. But at the same time, if you have a bass player, if you have a drummer, if you have a singer, if you have a guitar player, fucking use them.
Yeah, they should be playing the parts.
I'm sorry.
Like what? Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just standing there, just faking it.
You could have anyone. I could literally take my friend. I could take my drummer's grandmother, put her behind the kit, and no one would know the fucking difference because it would sound the same. Wow, that lady's really good for her age. Great dexterity.
Yeah, she's not even playing though.
It's ridiculous. Let's get the baby. Let's get the baby from the table on aisle 3. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous, but I think that we that is another like real Rev Rock thing. Is I think we're all about that real authenticity, real instrument, real live show kind of thing, and I really love that as well. And I think you guys are really, again, like I said, I got to do their sound check virtually, and they're really good live. They sound recorded. Like you're gonna want to listen to their live albums because they sound like if I wouldn't be surprised if some of the things I hear in your recorded versions are one take because they sound identical when you play them live. They're that good. So they're a great live band. I'm just.
Oh yeah, no, but I told Nick this so many times. Well, if we wouldn't sound that good on the live stream if it weren't for his mixing. Dude, he did. I'm excited for everyone to hear it on the Twitch. He did this whole thing and set it up like Van Halen 1, like the panning and everything, and then mix. I'm so excited.
I put the guitar on the left speaker and the reverb on the right. You guys they sound, but I okay. You can't polish a turd. You can't put lipstick on a pig. It's still gonna be a pig. It's still gonna be a pile of shit. Okay. You guys sound I'm saying your playing without me doing anything is so spot on that when I did that, all I did was enhance it and get the people to see. I get to polish the nice car. Like the car's already washed. It's already been maintained. All I had to do was polish it. So you guys sound great already. Like you didn't need me to do that. It just it's just that much like, it's audio quality, not the playing. You can't fake playing. Well, you can. But I don't recommend that. But they're not. So I don't want anyone to hear, like, because before you start getting the troll comments on your streams that there's no way that you're playing the tracks, I can tell you right fucking now that they're not playing the tracks. This is the real thing. They are that good of musicians. You're just not. You're just used to the pop and hip hop bullshit that's been shoved down your throat the last 10 years. Sorry, it's true. You can't believe someone could be that they could be that good, but they are. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Speaking of live shows, do you guys have any like funny? I always wanted to ask this, like any like funny show stories, specifically X. Anything that comes to mind, like your first show together. Like I would love to hear about that.
You wanna?
Yeah, well, we're gonna tell. We're talking about that.
And was it?
This was one of our first shows. It's like within our like first 3 shows. It's funny to look back on now. It was kind of scary in the moment.
I was probably like 10 or 11, but the day of the morning of the gig, me and Jonah were having a lightsaber fight. Well, I had a lightsaber.
He had a lightsaber. I had this plastic sword
from like Lord of the Rings or something. And we were battling it out, and then like I hopped on the couch, and then he stabbed like straight at my face. The sword cut straight under my tongue.
Yeah, and
like,
then
straight in my mouth. Like, it was like it was terrible.
Yeah, cut up.
Terrible.
Yeah,
God.
I was like,
oh God. Oh God.
It was, and that's the day of the gig. It was bleeding
I guess it's a good thing you're not the singer, right?
Yeah. but if I remember,
did everything get sorted out?
We still played it.
Yeah, we still played a fine show. Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
It wasn't as bad as it looked. It was one of those injuries where it like looked a lot worse, like when in the moment, and then like once everything was all cleaned up, it wasn't as bad as that. But yeah,
it still hurt.
Did that hurt your tongue?
It was like the bottom of my mouth.
Yeah, because
it was bad.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the scarier show stories that we've had.
Oh, I bet.
No,
that's terrifying. I just want to say kudos to you for doing live shows like that at like 10 or 11. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Gotta start young.
Yeah, gotta start somewhere. Yeah, and oh wait,
yeah,
what's that? What was
Jonah
that?
was telling me about the hypnotist.
Yeah,
that's so great. That's so great
stuff. What other good show?
I feel like any show like from like when we started or like before recently is like funny to me just because I had an electric kit. I had this tiny electric drum set, and it was really easy. It's very portable, and you just plug it in. But it's just
exactly. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
I didn't realize how much I was missing out on like acoustic kits, on real kits. But then once I got an actual kit, it was like it's just so much better. It's just like real. It gives that like real
Isn't
vibe.
it funny, by the way, Jonah, how it's the other way around with us, with guitar players? It's like you start on acoustic guitar, then you don't realize how much you're missing out until you buy an electric.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
it's so funny how that works.
It's totally. The gig where Xavier realized that he needed to upgrade, it was so funny. I don't think I told this story on the podcast, but it was our first bar gig, and we
had a back line.
Those are the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a backline stuff, but like we got there for load in. We were one of the first bands there. We bring in all our stuff. It takes us like 5 minutes because we don't have because it's so small. Everything. Then this band from Visalia, one of my favorite local bands, Xavier, comes in. They have.
Oh yeah. I've seen them before on social media. They're so good.
Yeah, they're so good. But their drummer Nate has their rack mounts, or like they have a rack, and then two kick drums, like 5 toms, and then like 13 cymbals, and then. Did he have? Speaking of Alex Van Halen, did he have like the rocket tom set up? He's just like.
all the way across the Neil Peart kit that you basically have to jump into because there's no walkway. You just spin in a circle.
Dude, his live kit is insane. I've actually jammed with Nate a couple times. His home kit is even bigger than his live kit. It's like twice the size of his live kit.
What?
It's freaking insane. Yeah, I was like,
that's
Jesus
insane.
Christ, he's literally, he pretty much has the Neil Peart kit.
That's nuts.
Once we
he literally has to have the spinning chair.
For real. Yeah, but once we backlined that electric kit right in front of
it's just like a
Examin's kit, it looked so puny. And then
wait, so basically X you were like X was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm getting an acoustic kit. I'm getting one right now. I deserve a raise. I've been at this for years.
That weekend, I was like, we're going.
That week we went to our nearest drums shop, which is like an hour and a half away, and then we got
saved up. It really hurt my thing.
Yeah. It's worth it. I feel like it's worth it though.
It's worth it.
It's definitely definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, because now I know that you guys are doing live shows. And I don't mean to interrupt you real quick. If you could hold that thought, I just want to ask you before I forget real quick. Do you I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but like second record, do you plan on miking that kit and trying that out? Because it sounds really good.
We might try.
I want to. I was actually talking about this with Xavier yesterday after you started mixing and stuff, and we said because the reason we haven't done it before is because we don't have the sound isolation you normally need for drums.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. We're gonna do some test recording stuff, and if it sounds good enough, I want to put it on. I'm sick of having the electric drums and the glitchy sounds that are
all buggy.
Yeah, the hi-hat is buggy. I always have I always have a problem mixing the hi-hats because I don't know if I'm over mixing it or if it's just the the glitchiness of the hi-hat.
All the dynamics on
exactly.
the electric kit are they're not as good as an actual acoustic kit.
No, of course not. No, I totally agree. So I would love to hear that because the drums sound great. I think from my end, the other day, they sound pretty good. So, and you can always add it. And I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, and I don't care to the rock community. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch this podcast. You can always add samples and blend them in. You know what I mean? To enhance the sound if you needed to. And I know that's an ego thing, but honestly, I was so against it, and I will say, coming from that world when I first started making records, and not replacing. I'm not a replacer guy, not into that at all. But when you just blend them in slightly, very low volume, it just enhances the sound and makes it sound like a record. So I think you should. I think the acoustic kit is always going to sound better because you get that overhead and the whole full picture of the mics, and there's nothing like real cymbals. You really can't fake that.
So that's true.
So yeah, no. But what? I hope you held on to that thought you were going to say because I'm going to feel like a dick if you didn't. What is it you were going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, the one thing I do miss about the electric kit is just how easy it was to pack up and set up. It's so portable. You just pack it up, set it, put it down. Yeah. But this, I need to pack up each individual drum, each cymbal. But in the end, it's all worth it. In the end, it's all worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, man. No, I feel that. My drummer in my cover band, one of my cover bands, specifically requests that we do not play shows without a backline because he hates the drum setup. It just holds up his entire car, and he has the bass drum and the toms and he's a pretty big rig, I guess. He's got like you're talking about that 5-tom thing, and it's just it's literally just him and one of his parents. There's no room for anything else. There's always a 2-car trip whenever he brings the kit. So it's
that's how it is for us whenever we go to.
He's let's play a place with a fucking kit, please. So it's hard to find nowadays. I will say though, that it is better than it used to be, at least on my end. From the stories my dad tells me, these places have a lot more equipment than they used to. So we are lucky, at least over here. I don't know what it's like over there.
We've had it really varies, like, cause like depending on where, cause since we're like central California, we have like from like Fresno, which is like city wind, and then they have like good light rigs. Some of them have drum sets and stuff, and then there's also like the very like low end gigs where they have like a very crappy drum set, very crappy house kit. We're like playing on like a piece of plywood with like buckets underneath. It varies all over the place here, but.
Yeah, I played this one place that was like what you're talking about. It's a trip, man. It's like it's the kind of thing that when you're doing it, you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm gonna laugh at this one day in an interview, and I'm gonna talk about how I played in this dingy little corner in a bar. Nobody paid attention to me. The setup took like 3 hours because they had zero equipment, and people are like yelling at me while I'm doing the show, like weird requests that I'm not gonna perform. They want to hear like freaking Anthrax when I'm a grunge cover band, and it's just like, you know what, I'm sure you've had those experiences too, like when you're doing it, you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna laugh about this one day.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some of those. I like some of our gigs. It's really fun. There's like no one paying attention, but there's like always that one person that's like drunk out of their mind in the front, just like dancing. It's like, I love your guys' music. There was this gig.
Yeah.
You want to go or?
No, I want to hear this first, please.
Oh, there's this gig. It was so funny. It was one of the most chaotic gigs because the promoter overbooked, so there's like 7 bands on the bill, and then like 2 of them were late, and we were supposed to be the last band to play, and we were after the headliners, which was weird. So we were supposed to go on at like 11:30. We didn't go on until like 1:30 in the morning, and like everyone was just like so tired. There was like 2 bar fights. The owner of the bar had to pull out his taser to stop the bar. Oh no! Yeah. And like we were actually told that we weren't gonna play that night. We were told that we were gonna get cut because the venue was gonna shut down. But then the owner said that.
Whoa! Back it up! Why did the bartender have a fucking taser? Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
Why a taser?
Yeah, I guess to stop bar fights, because it was this like this corner dive bar in Sacramento. It was a really fun venue, but yeah, we were there. And luckily we were able to play. The band after us got cut, which I felt so bad for them.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, we played no sound check because it was so late. We were like,
I love those.
Like
I love those. Yeah,
no
big
sound
gigs without sound checks are the worst, man.
We didn't even get a line check. I don't even think we were going through the PA besides vocals. It was just like turn up your amps as loud as they could possibly go. Yeah, but there was like a few people in the front that were so drunk, and they're like, I love your music. It's like
oh my god,
playing, and then they were like joking around with me. They were like flipping each other off and joking. It's so funny.
Yeah, oh my god, bro. Dude, that reminds me, I did this gig once in like a really dingy bar, and everyone was ignoring us. Everyone. Well, except this one guy. Okay, so let me say. Okay, so we did this gig, and we had no sound check, and it was really funny. The whole gig, I was just looking at. Like, there was a sound guy there, but he was like on his phone, like just standing next, like not even looking, just like this.
Oh, I hate this.
And I'm trying to look at him like. I could not hear myself at all. By the end of the night, my voice was shot. People were trying to talk to me after the show, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it was a really good show, you know? Like, I think it was really good. It was like, you know? So I was completely gone, you know? Like, I sounded like I had been through, like, vocal surgery. Like, it was really bad. Because I could not hear. The only way I could hear myself was to shove my face into the microphone and just sing as loud as humanly possible. Because I could not hear myself at all. It's the worst. I'm sure you can relate, Jonah. Like when you can't hear yourself while you're singing.
I hate that. That's why we got in-ears, because we were like, okay, we're done with that.
I want them so bad.
Yeah, now we got that. But continue on.
I agree. No, I want in-ears so bad. But so the sound guy's not looking at me, and I want to turn the thing up, right? And we're like in this dingy bar, and no one's paying attention to us. And we did like 3 sets, so it was like 45-minute sets. And every 45 minutes we get like 10 minutes, and then we go back and play again, right?
Oh yeah.
So basically, yeah. So what happened is we do one of the 45-minute sets, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, you guys are, you're all right. You're pretty good. So I'm like, fuck you, guy. No one asked you. So he comes up to me, and he's like, look, listen. He goes, so you sound pretty good. He goes, but when you went, yeah, at the end of Black Hole Sun, he's like, you don't need that. And he walks right out the bar door, the back door of the bar, and he just walks out of the building and leaves.
What?
I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, I'm all for like constructive criticism, but when people walk up to me after the show and they're like, that was a good show, but you could have done this, and this. I'm like, bruh, I do not have the patience for this right now.
You know what my
like,
answer to that is? You know what I want to say to those people is just like, you fucking do this. Like, here's my guitar. You go on for the next 45 minutes. Yeah, you do the next set. I'm done, man. I can't hear myself. My voice is getting shot. but for real. So we end up doing this set, and no one's paying. And then eventually, we get into the wee hours, like you're talking about, when the bar fights and the drunk people start to come out. I almost always want to. I always have more. I'm going to say I have more of a fun time when we book the gigs later and later. Like I always like I want to say to the band, I can't because the people in my band are like my drummer's like 16 so like that can't happen. But like I want to freaking book 10 to like 1 gigs because as we start to approach 11 midnight, that's when the fun people start to come out.
That's when they had a little bit too much to drink and they're like, we're down to do anything.
So there's this one guy that I could have swore was homeless, sitting at the bar, spending probably the last free money he had that wasn't on rent or food on this bar. And he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he gets up and he's like singing like at the top of his lungs, like we were doing like the like Best of You. And like there's this guy in the back of the room like this. I don't have a okay. Pretend this is like a beer, right? So he's like standing in the room and he's like, the best.
Oh my god!
And he's just like, chanting, and then he's literally like, so like we're doing American Idiot, and he's like, do I be American Idiot? Like the whole show is just screaming every single lyric. Those people. Well, you know what? Let me get my chair. This is so weird. I love people like that because that guy ended up. I think we made a majority of our tips that night from that guy. Just like whatever money he had left. I think when we went through our tip jar, there was like a nickel, like a $5 bill, and like some sort of like weird random business card. I think he was so drunk he just started. I wouldn't have been surprised if we got his credit card in the tip jar. He was that hammered.
Oh, that's so funny.
But it is the best. Drunk people are the best because as you go on, they'll just keep tipping you. They're not even thinking, I need to spend this money on I need to spend this money on my child support. They're just paying you the tips midnight. So it works, you know. I mean, hey, look, listen. I'm sorry. That's the demographic when you go to these bars. I'm sorry. It's the truth.
That's the bar. That's the bar gig experience. Yeah,
that's the bar crowd. No, but yeah, those are the funniest gigs. And then the next week I'll do like a super professional gig where it's like we don't even need a sound check because it's going to sound great because the sound people are on it, the lights are great, the mics sound fantastic, I can hear myself perfectly, there's tons of effects. And then the next week I'm at a bar where there's like the mic sounds like I'm clipping when I'm singing into it because there's no effects, there's nothing on it. Like, you don't mic anything except the vocals. It's just really funny in the beginning stages how much it varies depending on where you are.
Yeah, no, yeah. We as up and coming artists, we have to deal with so much random BS. It's we're gonna be able to laugh about this in the future when we're on tour together and we have like professional stuff.
I can't wait till we're on like no brown M&M status. Which, by the way, you know why? Do you know why the real reason why David Lee Roth said no brown M&Ms?
Oh, that was so they made sure people read the contract, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No. So they wanted to make sure that they read the because they had so much equipment. They wanted to make sure nothing was set up wrong. Nobody got hurt or anything. Everybody called him like a huge, which he was. I'm sorry. I'm David Lee Roth is a dick. I'm sorry. It's true. I don't care. But that was a really, really smart, like uncharacteristically genius business. That was some Gene Simmons level thinking.
Yeah, that was pretty
Kiss
good
on this show. Every episode will be about Kiss.
Episode in a row that we've talked about Kiss.
I think our goal, Jonah, for the show is by the 100th episode to get Gene Simmons as a guest on our show. How amazing would that be?
That would be a dream come true for me.
Prime.
Dude,
I feel like X would come back for that. Definitely. No, but yeah, I think that's that's really smart. Like, I wish I thought of that whole brown M&M thing. It's really genius.
Yeah. No, that would definitely be something. No, dude, imagine like being at that level of gigs. You show up to a gig, nothing is set up how it's supposed to be. That would be so terrible. I would hate
dude.
Like,
well,
imagine,
you know
like,
the other reason. Yeah.
Or I was gonna like imagine Metallica like with their like big whole light setup. If like one little thing was wrong on that stage, that would be like dangerous. Yeah, like someone.
Oh my God!
People gonna get hurt.
Many fucking people will get hurt. Yeah, I agree. See, this is the beauty of David Lee Roth, the juxtaposition of his genius marketing level skills and his complete, utter crackhead attitude. So, do you know the other reason, the other fun fact about the other fun fact about their live stage setup, about why they built their own live stage? Did you ever hear this story?
No. What is it?
Okay.
What was the reason?
So David Lee Roth specifically wanted Van Halen to have their own live stage set up because it was the 70s, it was the 80s. They had groupies. They had women who would come backstage after the show. You know how it worked. But what would happen is he wanted to make it as easy, and this is not a joke, he wanted to make this as easy as possible for his security guards to find the women he was referring to during the shows to bring backstage. So what he would do is he built his own stage so he could label what parts of the stage were, so he could be like, Section C, row 2, on the right, the blonde with the pink sweater. Give her a VIP pass.
That's such a David Lee Roth thing to do. That's such
real.
a David.
Yeah, that sounds
like such a him thing to do. That's so funny though.
Dude, the stories you hear about these bands are insane. It's like, how did these people make it through it? The amount of drugs they did, the amount of sex they had. It's like, how are these people still alive?
Yeah,
like, how did they not get like some sort of seriously transmitted disease? How did they not overdose? Get some sort of transmitted disease? Like, it makes zero sense.
Yeah, it's freaking like. I remember watching an interview. I mean, like Guns N' Roses. I don't know how any of those members are still alive.
Well, but Slash died.
No. Yeah, well, I mean, like Slash did die and then come back to life.
Slash died.
Yeah,
Slash died.
I don't even know. I mean, man still like played guitar and then had his like defibrillator shocking him through an entire show, 2-hour set, one time.
Oh yeah, wasn't that when? Was that when he was playing with Michael Jackson? I think
right? So.
Something with the pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't account for crazy. When he goes on stage, his adrenaline just shoots up because he's so amped to get on stage. And so, like, it was thinking that he was going into, like, cardiac arrest or something, so it was just like,
He's crazy because he's not even thinking. He's playing with a bunch of electrical equipment and like he has. Yeah, that's really funny, man. No, like, do you ever see Motley Crue's bio on Apple Music?
No, I haven't.
So the first line is something like, there are bands with drug-fueled, party-addled pasts, and then there's Motley Crue. Those guys were so fucking crazy. I don't know. Yeah. The fact that Nikki Sixx is like a functioning human, like, not even alive, the fact that he's like functioning.
He's functioning, like, and he's
normally?
Healthy, and yeah, he's like a normal, everyday human.
The guy overdosed and died, was brought back to life, and then snuck out of the hospital and shot up again.
Yeah.
How is it possible?
Yeah, he's died like almost 7 times, right? Like it's crazy.
Doesn't make any sense.
How do you cheat die that many times and still be functioning?
Yeah, it's like that Ozzy quote. Like, I'm 72 and I don't know how the fuck I'm still here.
Yeah, but Ozzy isn't able to play anymore.
No,
which is
I know.
Sad.
I know. But it's sad. The fact that he can do anything though after what he did, his career, like, wow, it's amazing that he's like still alive. Like that, it's nuts, man. All those people, it's a miracle. Which is why we don't want to have that in this next generation, for sure.
We're not gonna be drug addicts or alcohol addicts. We're trying to bring back the goodness of rock and roll, the feel good energy.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I have one last thing to close on here for X. I want to ask him, since you are the special guest. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I know you said you were only going to be on part of it, but you made it the whole episode. It wasn't that bad, right? It wasn't that bad, right?
Would you come on the show again?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Okay.
Not up here.
If this video gets 1,000 likes.
We did. I was going to say, I haven't done that yet.
You haven't. It was my turn this week.
Yeah. Xavier will come back.
Exactly. So, X, one last question I want to ask you before we wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for being here today. What I want to ask you is, so I want to get basically just your perspective and what your thoughts are on Rev Rock and the whole like thing that Jonah and I have concocted here, and what you're looking forward to, I guess, in the future. Just close off in the future. I think it'd be good.
I think what you guys are doing is great. Bringing rock back, introducing new rock bands, trying to like help popularize them. It's a really great thing, and I think it's really helping, like show people that there's a new generation of rock that's coming.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah. Awesome. No, though I couldn't have said it better, man. I definitely agree. I'm looking forward to all the things we're gonna do. I know Jonah and I have talked about. I think we definitely want to start with, hopefully, like being able to like do some sort of joint tour would be really great to like start off our touring experience. Since we're gonna be smaller, obviously starting up. I guess what's something you're looking forward to in your career, X?
I just want to like play with a ton of newer bands and upcoming bands. Like playing with you would be super cool, and like going on a tour, like you said. That would, and just like spreading all with the warning. Yeah.
Jonah's bringing out my obligatory Olivia Rodrigo comment, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let's keep going. Wow, that was. You guys hear that? That was really loud.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go see after we finish this episode. I hope nobody like fell. Last time I heard a loud bang like that, my grandmother fell. I wish that was a joke. I'm sorry. Of course, we end the episode like that. Only me. Listen, it's been so great having you here. Honestly, I really love. Like, you're so cool, man, and I really loved having you on this episode. And
I'm glad you came.
We have so much in common. Yeah, we have so much in common, man, and I'm really glad we finally got to talk to each other for the first time, recorded on camera for everyone to see. It's been so much fun, man. I'm super excited. And Jonah, do you have anything coming up at the time of this episode coming out? August 14th, I think, is when this episode comes out.
I don't know. I don't think we have anything scheduled right now. But right after this call tonight, as of the day of this recording, we are playing in the finals for Battle of the Bands for the Fresno area.
Yeah.
So hopefully that goes well. We'll update you guys on that.
Yeah.
You guys are so amazing. I doubt you guys are not going to win. And if you don't, it's rigged. So, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to all. Dear Diary has been out for a second now, and it's constantly on repeat. I was just joking about this to myself real quick. I want to say that so basically, I've told Jonah this before, but the Jinx music is my shower playlist. And I can't, every time you guys add another song, I just become more cleanly. My cleanliness goes up, and I become more hyped because my showers get longer.
You gotta listen to all this
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to the day when the greatest hits album will just be like, we'll have like an hour long, like, and I just like relax. I'll probably have to take a bath at that point. But
by the time we're like 7 hours in our career, you're just gonna be sitting there in the bath for like 3 hours a day. Listen through all that.
I'm gonna be so pruned. I'm gonna be such a prune. It's gonna be ridiculous. No, but Dear Diary is an amazing song. If you haven't checked it out yet, you better fucking stream it right now because you're a loser if you don't.
Right now.
Yes. Jinx music is amazing. Just go through their entire catalog. I literally ask Jonah every time he looks at me on Discord. I just have it on loop all the fucking time.
Right before this call, Nick had it on loop and was listening to it while posting his social media.
Exactly. Jonah literally said to me, he's like, hey, great taste in music. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah, you guys are so amazing. You guys are a dream team. And then you having your dad in there too. It's so cool. I love the whole family aspect of it. And I think that familyhood is all what I'm about too. So I really love that as well. A little plug for myself real quick before we wrap up.
Check
my
out
song,
Nick's music.
Her Butt, just came out. So second official
it's such
single.
A good song.
It's going to be my fifth. Wait, it's going to be my sixth release, but it's my second single. So besides the podcast, I've had my first single, Call to This Generation, and then I had an acoustic version, a piano version, an instrumental version. So I hope you guys all took part in that campaign and played on it and sang on it. And I think, Jonah, we talked about you doing that possibly.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be doing that.
That's going to be fun. And then I also had a cover of Rescued come out. We've talked about that. And so this is basically my second actual original, not like some sort of like reimagined or cover release. So I'm really excited about that. The Mythology, Her Butt, it's out everywhere. Check out our Spotify pages so you can check out our playlists of our influences, our complete
Rev
discography,
Rock Right Now.
The Rev Rock Right Now playlist with The Mythology, Jinx, The
and
Warning,
all other Rev Rock
and many
albums.
other great bands that you need to check out. All really great stuff. I can't think of a better way to leave off. It's been great. I'm not going to drag on any longer, even though I'm kind of doing it right now, but I just keep talking. Xavier, thank you so much for being here. I'm Nick Valley from The Mythology.
I'm Jonah Dacanay from Jinx.
I'm Xavier Dacanay from Jinx.
And this was Rev Rock Revolution! Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
I had a blast. I know you got to go set up for your gig, so let's do this thing. Until next time, episode 6, we have some fun things in store for you. We're really excited. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.